TK.
Yeah.
What's going on out there?
It's pretty active, man. I got like
Pretty
3
active.
conditional sales.
How many?
List 3.
3 conditional sales simultaneously. Like, how weird is that?
Yeah.
Conditional.
Oh, sorry. I got 4 actually.
Oh, excuse me. I
Yeah,
forgot
'cause
about
one I
one
forgot about
sale.
one
How?
of the
Why?
land ones.
You don't think it's gonna actually like happen? You forgot about
No,
it?
no, no, no. They're all my listings. It's just that one is like
You're
October
so busy.
31st, 2023. Right? That's a
The
conditional on
closing?
severance. No, the condition. So I don't really
Till
count that
when?
one.
Is that the kind of fucking conditions people are getting away with right now?
Yeah, I got a sale of the buyer's property condition.
What? Hold on. Conditional on severance until October 2023.
2023. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Conditional, not firm, and
No,
closing.
conditional buyer pays for all costs. Seller just sits back and waits. And if they don't go through with it, they've lost nothing and they get to keep all the plans and drawings that the buyer comes up with.
What kind of property is this?
I brought it to you.
You did?
Yeah.
And you were able to get
that
those
community
kind of
organization. Remember I told you,
Oh,
you know, they drink a lot of beer.
That I don't know if that's narrowing it down, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Severance. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Until 2023. But so hold on. So they have to pony up the dough.
The buyer takes the risk of putting up the dough. The application
goes in Monday.
Know.
Yeah, but they'll know like whether the city's favorable without spending too much money.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fortune, but there's a risk involved.
So what happened? The other buyer came up with those terms, and it actually went through.
All the buyers had the same terms, which was like, what do you want us to say here? You're telling us this can be done. There's no proof.
Right.
So this was the best offer we had. We had 4 offers or something.
And how was the price in comparison to?
We got it at the asking price.
Asking price with terms of a year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Time for a new strategy, I guess.
But I got a sale of the buyer's property as well, which I guess we should talk about when our guest comes on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I guess.
If our guest comes on.
Yeah.
So then I'll just talk about it now then.
Maybe she's having trouble logging in. Did you?
No. Conditional on the sale of the buyer's property.
Conditional on the sale of the buyer's property.
When's the market to do that? When is the market to do it? When is the time to do it? 30 days with an escape clause.
30 days with an escape clause for the buyer.
So this property is highly unmarketable. It is like nobody wants to do this type of project. It requires like $1 million reno to bring it up to standards, and the area that it's in is like a really good area. So like someone wants that, but anybody in that area wants like a really nice house. The bedrooms are super small. Like you have to do an addition on this property. Otherwise it's just like a weird property where a lot of the houses are getting torn down. So we had a couple offers and this one was just like, you know, it made more sense. And there's lots of interest in the property, but everyone seems to have the same feedback. And the guy who has the property to sell is like this fantastic little property that should sell, you know, reasonably well, high demand, you know, new build in Toronto. So it made sense to put our eggs in his basket because his house is going to sell faster than this one. And these people have had the house on the market for 6 months with another agent. So I've been only around for a few weeks here.
So the seller runs the risk of having it tied up for 30 days.
But we have an escape clause. So it means that people can still come in with an offer.
That's what an escape clause is.
So someone can come in with an offer and then we can give notice to the buyer and say, look, ship up or ship out, you know, if that's the right expression.
So at any point in time, you can say, hey, by the way, you're not firm anymore. Ha ha ha. I got another offer.
You need to firm up within this period of time. Otherwise, we're going to accept this other offer that's satisfactory to the seller.
So you can force the firm by getting another offer.
Yeah.
That seems highly manipulatable.
It seems no, but it'd be a huge risk though if the seller would say to him that, you know, oh, I got this great offer, and then he's like, all right, well, screw you, I haven't sold yet, and then they're like, oh, now we got nothing. So this was a circumstance where it made sense. Most regular houses, I wouldn't like, we're in a seller's market. You wouldn't need to do that. But this one here, like they've been on the market for a long time and the feedback is the same. And it's somebody who has to go and drop a bunch of money to make this property right. And it's, you know, busy streets, you know, there's other
Did
things
you say
going on.
we're in a seller's market?
Yep.
Hmm.
Treb stats came out.
And
3
they
months
said
of inventory, give or take, depending on the area you're in. We're in a strong seller's market, actually.
strong seller's
Prices are
market.
going down, but just if we just say seller's market, we're in a seller's market. Like you can go and you can sell your home if you list it at the right price, which is lower than it was a month ago.
A lot lower.
I know, but you're going to sell it. So there's other factors that lead towards buyers and sellers. Seller's market doesn't always necessarily mean that prices are going up. Right? Just the definition of seller's market is going to be based on months of inventory or the sales to new listing ratio. And right now we're still in a strong, like if we were at like 5 months of inventory or like 4, and it's like, okay, you know what? Like this is getting to balanced territory. But and there's plenty of places where it's like 2 months of inventory, and offer dates and all that kind of stuff. Again, people can't afford to pay more money and the prices are going down. But nonetheless, if you need to sell your home, it can be done, which is good news, which is what I like. I love this. I love this market. This is like one of my favorite markets to ever work in
So
right now.
So there's a house around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've talked about the one across the street from me that I feel definitely underpriced and sold very quickly.
Yeah.
There's one around the corner that went for what I would think would be the right price. Of course, from my vantage point, it's a little skewed, but it didn't sell. And now they've relisted for way lower. So yeah, it's a seller's market if you're willing to drop your price a lot from where you actually
based on what's been
think it's
selling,
worth.
right? Yeah. I was thinking about something the other day, just like as a little disclaimer at the beginning of the show, just because we got a lot of cool new subscribers last episode with Luke, right? And a lot of the comments were about like, you know, us being real and all that kind of stuff. And I think one of the things about us is, I mean, one, you're a developer, so you know you're a long-term guy. Like you'd love the market to be down. It means that you get to buy places for a better price. So like it's not like you need prices to go up to you know make sense of your job. And I am like 90% on the listing side. You know, if I always told people that the market went up, then none of my clients would ever want to sell. They would all be like, well, if the market's going up, like let's just wait. So I'm not saying I'm a bear, but I'm just definitely not like, you know, going out there trying to pump the market up and say that it only goes up. I'm a realist. I want it to go up. I think it will go up, but at the end of the day, I'm just not in that camp. So that's why I guess it's a little bit easier for me to talk to the bears and to have, you know, to be friends with the bears. I think they got some great points. You know,
That's
there's
the
lots of
problem with
good
the
stuff
Bears.
there. There's a very strong reality that next year is way worse than it is this year. Absolutely.
I put out a tweet. I said something along the lines of when the bears like when the market becomes bullish or bearish and the bears are right, at some point it's going to flip again and we're going to be in a bull market. And so what do the bears do then?
Hibernate.
They hibernate. But they don't. They tell us we're all crazy and that the market's overvalued still and it should have gone back to the 70s. And
yeah.
So where are we going now? Like another 50 points, TK. Another 50 points. Everybody was kind of hoping for 25 and a little like
I was wrong.
off the brakes.
I said nothing.
0 because that's just
I just want to be wrong.
Around a little bit with everybody.
I know my guess is as good as anybody else's, so
it's as good as anybody else's for sure. Except it was way worse.
Whatever someone says, I just will make sure I say something different in that regard.
I actually said that it was going to be 50, even though I was hoping it was going to be 25. And previously I called for 25. But like this thing is still relatively
I want to see video evidence of you calling 50.
I put out a tweet. I said, can we all agree that they're going to raise 50 points?
How do I know you didn't edit that tweet?
It would say edited, bro. Come on. You don't even know how Twitter works. Just stop. Okay.
I heard Twitter
point
might start showing how many people have seen your tweets.
They already do that. Oh, showing other people how many people seen your tweets?
I'm not sure.
All right. Well,
but it already tells you how many people have seen your tweets.
I can see how many people have looked at my tweets or passed over my tweets.
Oh,
plenty of people.
I thought that was a cool feature that didn't exist already. Maybe it
Oh,
means other people.
maybe they're going to show other people, which
Yeah.
I don't know what that'll
So
do, but
what does the rate hike mean? So if they said 50 basis points, what is that based off of?
what is it based off of?
Yeah.
Hmm. I imagine there must be some significant pressure to not kill the Canadian dollar. That's got to be up there on the list of criterion for their decision.
Okay.
It
Do you
seems
think
like
inflation's getting under control?
no, inflation's going to keep going crazy. I mean, listen,
It seems like it's
it raising rate hikes doesn't change the fact that we need to eat and live somewhere, right? And get places to make more money to eat and live and, have a place to take a dump. But basically, the more the rate hikes go up, that's basically all we're going to be able to do is like eat, sleep, take a dump, go to work, and rinse and repeat over and over again. Soon, like people are really going to have to scrape their Netflix accounts for $15 a month.
Do you think you can get a Netflix account with like multiple users and I can just use your password?
Yeah, but you know what? Guess what? It's already like everybody's maxed this account out, bro. I need a second one now for everyone
Yeah.
to screw around.
Yeah.
But
So
it's really like I don't think we've seen much pain yet. Like I'll give you an anecdotal story of our economy right now. My daughter wanted to make some money. She wanted to get a job. And, I don't want her to work for me. She's worked for me in the past, but I want her to go get a real job. And I was like, maybe it's going to be a little tough out there and she'll go get a job. She'll get rejected a few times and, she'll learn what it's like really like out there. It's a good lesson to get your first job. Right. So she gets an interview. She goes to the place and leaves with the job.
no,
Yeah.
she
She
left
got the
with the
job. She
job.
left with the job.
Yo,
But
she is smooth.
as smooth as
She
she
is
is, no, but
smooth.
as smooth as she is, I don't believe it's a testament to her, as wonderful
No,
a girl as she is, and she's a huge value add for their
organization.
company organization. Thank you. I believe that the hiring method was more of a like
Who shows up?
shotgun splatter kind of thing,
Who
like just
shows up?
see who's going to
Look,
show
she
up for
showed up, all
training.
right? She showed up and
Oh
she was
yeah.
on time and she looked me in the eyes and, Bailey, I don't think that was it. I think your dad is wrong. I think you impressed them and that you nailed it. And
Boom. I
congratulations.
told her she's going to be assistant manager in the next 3 weeks there for sure. But this is the state of the economy. It's not even difficult to get a job at all right now.
Yeah. So and then my anecdotal tale was just the amount of people who are still traveling, buying cars, still looking to buy houses, just like nobody I know has come to me and said, you know what, I'm not doing well right now. I think it's time that I cut back. Now, I shouldn't say that actually.
Really?
That's not true. Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
true
that
when I
can't
say
be
that.
true.
That's not true. That's not true. Nobody who is not my client, or talking to me about selling their home has said those things. Like there's a ton of people out there who are out buying. So there's two parts of this right now. The people who are struggling and now they're really, underwater and they're coming to me and they're coming to agents and they're asking questions about how they can figure out how to get out of this mess. And then there's a bunch of people who didn't buy a house in the last few years, who didn't, who locked in a really low interest rate, fixed term,
Yeah, and they
who
don't
are
give a
their
shit.
mortgage is paid off, whatever, and they are still laughing. So the employment side, the income side is still very strong. And so people are still buying stuff. And the percentage of people who are struggling, it's strictly the people who have to pay higher mortgage payments right now.
Well, and a lot of people, like the place, the areas where the economy is shedding jobs, like the tech industry, those are people that were able to work from home and bought in Bancroft for 94%, more than when COVID started. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, I got to sell this place because they need me back in the office, I just got laid off. I don't have a job, and now I got this stupid house I'm paying $5,000 a month for, right?
It's horrible.
It's going down in value every day. So, but that brings me back to that offer you got, like those people that are willing to take this conditional offer for 30 days in a sinking market. And that's their best opportunity. Like That's not great.
Yeah, it's a unique situation. Like I said,
But it's going to come up more and more
most
often.
houses you wouldn't need to do that, but it's the buyer is savvy and is
I got to think more buyers are
competent
trying to do that.
and knows what to do and how to be able to get this done. So yeah, like sometimes that's what you got to do to be able to make things work.
No,
Right?
yeah, no, 100%. For the buyer, it's fantastic. For the seller, it's not great. I mean, hopefully it works out, but I got to think that more and more sellers are going to have to accept that scenario as.
Not yet, not until inventory really piles up. Right
Well,
now,
that's a
inventory
great
hasn't
point.
piled up.
That's a great point. Let's talk about inventory, because
Yeah.
inventory is starting to not pile up, but it's definitely starting to accumulate month after month. It's not shrinking, is it?
I don't know month after month what it's doing.
Like we
It's
used to
down
be at
it's
one
down year
point
over
something
year.
months or something, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely I think months of inventory is creeping up a little bit, but
Um,
definitely not anything to be concerned about at all.
What about days on market? What's that doing? Is that taking a little longer these days?
Why you got to call me on the spot like this, Daryl? Like what? Like I got all these stats just
I
sitting right
don't know.
next to
You
me.
don't have to answer. You can say I
Like
don't know.
I can
Jesus
say I
Christ.
don't know. I
I'm gonna
know.
type it in
Jeez.
here. I'll edit this out. We can
No,
make
it's
you look like a
okay. No,
superstar.
you put
Here,
this
ready?
in.
What?
I'm a
Boom.
superstar. I know everything. I got
TK
all the stats just
TK can
memorized
Google.
like I'm a robot or something
Let's
like that.
go. Treb
But
stats.
but
Treb market watch. Anyway,
days on market.
we know the answer. Inventories are like starting to. They're
Okay,
not
okay,
getting
okay,
high,
okay.
but they're getting up there. They're starting
Is
to
gone up
mount.
83% year over year.
Yeah, that's a difference. But last year was a little like anything compared to last year and the year before is
Well, I mean, think
easily
about it. Last year, I
explainable.
mean, you're talking about November 2021. It's a good, strong market, but at the end of the day, it's not like it's the
Low
January to
inventory.
March market.
But weren't we back
83%
then going
increase
like,
is
but
it's a
weren't we
pretty
saying
significant
like,
increase.
holy shit, it's like super low. The inventories are crazy. Like there's nothing
Yeah,
for sale. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
1.6 months or
They're
something.
not building enough houses. We
Yeah,
don't
there's
got
no
enough
supply.
houses, Daryl.
God damn, but right
What are we
now
gonna
it feels
do?
like every argument that used to make sense makes absolutely no sense anymore. And the
Yeah.
bearish statements seem to hold a little more weight, but it's like, who the hell knows? I remember back in like 2007 when I would talk to people about like, I just remember it feeling like, things are coming apart and they're talking in the States and they're unraveling and like something's going to happen here. And
Mm-hmm.
I would follow all these like economists and all these smart people in the industry, and nobody knew what was going on. And then this one guy I knew, he was like, Darryl, it's going to happen really fast. And then it's going to bounce back like we've never seen. And I was like, this guy's fucking crazy. What are you talking about? Everybody, Alex Jones is saying that the world is falling apart. And right. This is back in 2006, 7. It's the same again. It's like, everybody's talking and everything's falling apart and everything's coming undone. And then I talk to you and it's like, things are moving, everything's moving. It's a seller's market. Here we go. Like multiple offers with these conditional, like what? You make it seem like it's like really busy out there. And I'm sitting here looking at all the deals I've been looking at going like, maybe these are not a good idea right now. Maybe I need to rethink things. Because maybe things are going to be worse for longer than I anticipated.
Hard to gauge. I mean, I think I learned a lot in the market. So in April, May, June, July, August, those were tough months because there was major changes month over month, and so sellers' expectations were not easily in line or lined up with reality, right? And so I, went through a lot of pain during that time. The sellers went through a lot of pain, and there was a lot of adjustments that needed to be made. And just like any other professional, I figured out what I was doing wrong and figured out how I could help the next people who I was in front of. And I made sure I made those corrections. So now when people do come to me and I am talking to them, I'm giving them the dose of reality and I'm making sure that they get their home sold for the most amount of money. Because if your home is worth more today than it will be tomorrow, selling sooner is the best strategy that you could do. If your home is worth more today than it will be tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
then selling sooner is the best strategy that you could do.
Why isn't holding it and riding this out for a couple of years the right thing you should do?
If you are planning on staying in that house for the next 5 to 10 years, because the last downturn in the market in the
Or
90s
you're
was
saying if
5
you're
years of
planning on
downward trending
selling.
prices, and it was 12 years before the prices came back.
Yeah. But you're saying if you're planning on selling anytime soon, like get it on the market now.
If you want to get the most amount of money and you're selling, you need to move quick. You need to be the best value in the neighborhood and make sure that the next buyer in your neighborhood buys your property.
Right.
Because there's lots of people who didn't get that advice and have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It must be so hard for people now. So I was in this one of Daniel Foch's Twitter spaces on Thursday, and they were talking about technology and valuation of properties, right?
Garbage.
And it was this new company, I don't remember, Wahi or something like that.
Yeah.
And anyway, so like we know that we've been seeing on House Sigma for years now valuations of properties, right?
Garbage
For sure.
Garbage.
I don't know how they come up with it, because every time
I can tell you personally, House Sigma, if I look up the listing before I list it and I see what the House Sigma estimate is, and then I list the property, it changes. So if you're
based on the listing,
based on the list price,
it doesn't seem to be based on the sales that they post, because that like it makes no sense.
That's what I mean. So if you want your home to be worth more, just list it for a really high price, and that algorithm will make it worth more.
Make it worth more. That's a good idea.
How is that a reliable tool?
Or go to your neighbor. Hey, do me a favor. Just list your property for like $6 million for 30 days.
A computer is going to buy my house. I got to sell it to the robots.
You're not really selling. People think you're crazy. It doesn't matter. But
going to come.
It'll make my
It's
house
a mistake.
look good.
You meant to put 600,000. Actually, I saw a property sell for $510,000 this week. Somebody posted it in a WhatsApp group, and it was 510,000 was the sale price. It was listed for $5,999,999 for like 6 months or something like that, like 150 days or something. I don't know. Okay. So what do you think the correct list price was supposed to be? Sold for 510,000.
510.
599, right? But the agent had typed one too many nines uploading the listing. And 5 or 6 months later, they hadn't changed it. And they're wondering why their property hasn't sold.
It's crazy. And that's the only place it's listed is on where'd you say? Facebook? Kijiji?
No, it's an MLS listing, but someone posted
WhatsApp
it in a WhatsApp group, right? Yeah. So
hold on, let me finish my point though. So I put my property in House Sigma, and then I put it in this other new estimator, and it was off by over $300,000 between the two.
Who's okay?
Okay, like off? One was, well, who's off?
Yeah,
right. Like who's off?
Yeah. So the difference between the two is 300,000.
Because I'm sitting here going, hold on a sec. Like, I wish either one of these was right, would be great right now. I think they're both ploys to get me to call them instead of somebody else. But I mean, I think they're really actually trying to evaluate things. I think it's a real sucker's game to go down that road, to be honest with you. How are you ever going to figure out how to have a computer value a house? Like there's way too many factors to put in there.
Yeah. Would you trust a computer to value a piece of art?
That's crazy. Like that's even crazier, I think. But the point is how does the public, who has no idea from what their house is worth, they never cared before, like they're not like us. They're not like constantly thinking and talking real estate. They just lived in a house, right? How are they supposed to trust anything? Like this website says it's worth this website says it's worth this one this one this, and then the agent comes in,
3 agents,
3-4 agents go, well, this is the right strategy, and then we're going to get this, and if you do it like, and the people are sitting there going, holy shit, I don't know what to do. I just want to sell my house. I bought it for like 36 grand in 1972. Like, I don't care if it's 1.8 or 2.1, like just sell the thing.
Last year, Darryl, 51.3% of agents in the Toronto Real Estate Board, with using the MLS system, sold one house or less. How many of those 73,000 agents can give you a price?
An accurate price?
A price.
A price? All.
So there's 73,000 agents who can give you a price.
Yeah.
And last year, half of them sold one house or less.
Mm-hmm.
And the average one sold maybe 1.5 or 3/4 or whatever it is, less than 2.
How many of those people that sold one was it not for somebody like 1 degree of separation away from them?
0.
Right?
they,
Like
they had a cousin who wanted to buy
grandma,
a property. So
oh,
again,
let you sell my property, honey. It's
right? Or it's his own
okay.
property, his or her own property.
Yeah.
So again, so all those prices, so 73,000 prices, half of them are no good.
Half. That's
90%
being
of
generous.
those, 90% of those are
wrong.
probably way off.
Mm-hmm.
9% of the remaining 10% are probably too high because they just want to get your listing and then they'll work you down.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let
I would say that
reality sink
1% would
in.
be somewhat reasonable within $50,000 of each other for the average home, right? Like it's pricing is a real like art, you know, there is like, and the computers think they can do it.
Listen,
don't
I
think
at
so.
one point thought it was possible. And I at one point thought that I would be the guy that could take down that stallion. But it's
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Like, when will people even if it's accurate, people won't believe it?
It's subjective. Like, you know, value is subjective. Someone comes in there and says, look, I hate the fact that there's a hot tub in the family room. It's
Yeah.
horrible. Who
Yeah.
the hell put a hot tub in the family room? I got to
Yeah.
rip that out. I'm going to have to do new flooring. I don't know, there's structural integrity that's been compromised. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. Who puts
Yeah.
a
And then
hot
you
tub
get
in the family room?
people that walk in there and look at each other and go,
Hot tub in a family room.
what can we do in
Hot
here?
dog.
Yeah, it's a
That's
party.
that's the place to put it.
Yeah. How much? What?
Bertha,
Hey.
how much we got to offer on this
Yeah.
house?
Hey, what do we got to do to get this one? What do we got to
Right?
do?
Yeah. So
You got
you know
any
what I
other
mean? Like
buyers?
these are all the things that come up, right? So I don't think that computers are going to take over my job. I'm thankful for that. I think that you know, as long as the people that I seem to meet continue to exist out there, then there will always be a need for real estate agents.
I think that the computers need to enhance two things. One, the agent.
Mhm.
They need to act as an enhancer for the agent.
Okay.
And they need to enhance the customer experience, the consumer experience, right?
100%. Yeah.
I used
I
to think
love
that the
that.
goal was to eliminate all of you people
I
because
love that company, that BC. Sorry, I'm interrupting you a lot today. The BC company with the augmented reality where you would go and you would tour the home and then that digital agent would come up,
Mhm.
right? I love
Yeah.
that. It's a great idea. No, you use a real agent. You don't use AI. You know, you use
You could
AI
do
for certain
either.
things, and then you have like another, you know, okay, we want to talk more specifics. The
No, but even
agent then
things
steps
like,
in.
sure. Or even just things like the calendars that like tools that you guys are using now. It's like there's certain things that can be alleviated off of your plates that would actually make you able to provide a better customer experience just by not being bogged down by certain things. That so much technology can do. But there's a lot of people spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to value the property. And I think that's just a total sucker's game. Like you're just going down a void.
They're getting, you know, because there's a delusion that you had, right? That same thing.
I can
like,
do it.
I'm gonna
I'm
come
the
up with
guy.
this. And so all these investors are like, oh man, this guy's got it figured out. They've got,
When
you
they
know,
get
they've
it
got this.
done, man.
They're from MIT. You know, they figured it out. They were able to value, okay, the cost of shipping bananas from Colombia to New York City, you know, 11 out of 12 months of the year. They built
Down
that
to
algorithm. So
down
for
to the
sure, these
quant.
guys, they can handle real estate. Like this is no problem for them.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we'll get like pictures involved and computers reading pictures and all kinds of stuff. And hey, people got great ideas.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that could be handled for realtors, right?
Yeah. Like
so many. Like
Mr.
just
Ideas.
like easy uploading listings or something like that. Like just the amount of time spent on listings and paperwork that's so easily automated. It's ridiculous. And even, you know, Treb's taking stabs at it themselves. They do things wrong. Somebody just has to, instead of going after like this holy grail of valuations, there's so many valuators out there. It's crazy. People just need to come up with more simple things like the calendars and like unlocking the lock boxes from somehow and actually, you know, making sure people can get into the houses. And
yeah, we use digital lock boxes and stuff like that. They're all controlled. I think through augmented reality, I think that's where
The
real
augmented
estate.
reality is going to be
Yeah.
killer.
So
Virtual
on the
reality,
buyer side,
killer.
right? Like you send like a autonomous driver to go pick them up. You know, the car pulls up, it picks them up, it takes them to the house. They put on their glasses, everything's secure. You know who they are. They're going in the house. Everything the seller
Yeah.
knows. The agent doesn't have to be there because they've got the system.
You don't
They
even have to
walk
take
around.
them. You come to their
You're
house with it and you just do it at their house.
That's virtual reality, right? But
No, even augmented, you could do it now. Well, a
and then they
combo of the two, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So they go to the house and then you are talking them through it. You're in your little like office
Mm,
space and stuff like that. You got appointments all day long. And then you're just sort of talking people through, oh, look what would happen if you guys renovated the kitchen. What kitchen do you like? What kitchen do you like? What kitchen do you like?
mhm,
Oh, good. Why don't we move the bathroom over here? And then all of a sudden now they're like, oh wow, this was really going to work for us. Right. Oh,
mhm.
look what you can do with your backyard. This is what it'll be like in winter. This is what it'll be
Yeah.
like in summer,
Oh,
so
yeah.
they really get that whole experience.
Plop the new furniture into the space,
Yeah. What
all
is your,
kinds
yeah,
of stuff.
I've uploaded all your furniture, guys. Okay, look, here's your couch, here's your TV, here's your everything like that. And everything just becomes part of the experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
See,
something that
even
somebody's going to master. Maybe Art will from New Brunswick.
maybe we'll
Maybe Art will
see.
be a leader in that,
Maybe somebody's working on stuff like that.
right? But that's a big thing that would really change now for Art's version, like you were just mentioning, at home, right? So, you do the 360 virtual tour, you do all the videos that you need to, and then you basically give someone the I think it would be a VR headset with your thumb toggle so you're not walking into stuff. And then you just go through the house and you just tour around and you're like, okay, yeah, this is good. Yeah. And you can just see the house the way it is. That's already happening though.
It's happening. It's
Yeah.
not great though, the
But the
way that
quality
they do it
sucks.
now. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all fish-eyed, or I don't know how you call it. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Yeah.
weird looking.
Boxy. Yeah.
It's all weird looking, but soon it's going to be out there where hopefully people attack these things. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Technology is weird and real estate's weird and everybody thinks that they can't be replaced and then boom,
Yeah.
everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Wait, Tesla, right? We've been talking about this for a long time. Tesla just released the Semi, like they just did their first deliveries to Pepsi on
Yeah.
their Tesla Semi.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before that thing's on the road without a person. And we're seeing all kinds of YouTube videos of trucks driving around without people. That's just a
Mhm.
matter of time now. Like maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years, but that's going to make a big impact on a lot of things. And we're
Mhm.
going to just keep seeing that. Like we talked about last time, like Amazon laid off 10,000 people in their factories, right? Or in their warehouses, but
Mhm.
they probably bought like 100,000 new robots.
Mhm.
It's all about technology now. Even in the war, it's crazy. You hear about like in Ukraine, the drone strikes now. Like,
Right?
it's
Do you really need soldiers anymore? Like, are we at that point? Like, can't you just be like, listen, go inside your house or we're going to send drones? Like, that's it.
you're gonna find out
Saddam
that these
Hussein, where are
kids,
you?
these kids think they're playing a video game. Meanwhile, they're like
Yeah.
bombing Moscow,
Yeah.
right? Through some drone game.
It feels, yeah.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah. I know. I know.
I think every time I'm playing this game, whatever happens in the game, I hear it on the news the next day. I don't know
Imagine
what's
that would be a
going
good
on.
movie. We're coming up with all the ideas today, but I think that the generation to do that is like Aiden's or even my son Connor. They're about 5 years apart. Like that generation who's in school right now. They're
If you
growing
ask,
up and everything is digital. They're gonna get real jobs one day, and they're just gonna look and they're say, "Why the heck are you guys doing it this way? This is stupid," right? And they're gonna actually change the format of all jobs,
if
everything.
you if you asked your son if he would get one of those Neuralink implants, what would he say?
I'm not sure. Maybe he's not quite old enough yet to.
Maybe not to
He's
know
10.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But this is the world that Connor's growing up in, is where
Yeah,
there will be people that are walking around with like interfaces to their phones
yeah,
in their brains,
yeah,
and imagine selling stuff to them.
yeah.
Imagine like even just when the goggles start working and you can actually walk through a house without somebody and learn everything about the house.
Yeah.
Or as a buyer, you imagine if somebody came up with a pair of glasses that could see all the deficiencies in a house and beneath the
Just thinking that.
floors and
I was
behind the
just thinking
walls,
that.
and you could
But
like go,
X-ray vision, I don't know. The best you
I
can do
don't
would be
think
thermal
so.
imaging.
I don't know, but there's got to be a way that you can like Give
So
somebody the edge like that. That'd be
so eventually, yeah.
cool.
So eventually it would be like digital schematics where like, you know, when houses are built, all the schematics are loaded into a database.
That'd
And
be
so then when
cool.
you're walking through a property, you know, okay, there's a plumbing stack there, there's electrical wires here. Like you could have something like that. That would
Oh,
be more
how
like
great would that
futuristic
be?
construction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
General contracting tool. Like
exactly.
that's a bajillion-dollar idea there, TK. Can we
Thank you.
copyright that by just
Yep,
having it
that's
on here and
copyrighted
saying
by me
it's
making this
copyrighted now?
statement at the end of this video, and
This is
all further
copyrighted.
rights will be prosecuted if anybody tries to steal that idea.
Now
That's
we
an
gotta go
official
to
way of doing it.
now we gotta go to like Malaysia or somewhere. We can't go to China. We have to go to India to get this thing made. We
India,
can't we can't go to China. You want to go to China?
they're
Get
gonna
ready
steal our
for
stuff.
some more supply chain issues.
There's no word for proprietary in Chinese. Doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a character for it.
Would it have to be one character? It can't be a combination of a few or
No,
two?
they're just like, no, that doesn't, you know, you can say proprietary, but what we hear is ours for the taking.
Ours, yes,
Ours. Yeah.
for the
That's a
better
good
of
way of doing
everyone.
things, really, really and truly. Like I like how Elon Musk has got his plans and the patents for Tesla open
I
sourced.
know. I can't
Like,
believe it.
isn't that the only way to do anything for technology?
Isn't that great? But you know what's crazy?
Apple, you guys are not crazy.
I was walking with my son the other day, and I was telling him we were talking about the fact that all the patents are out there and open, and I was like, why doesn't somebody just take them and open up another Tesla? Like, why? How could you not get funding for that? It's kind of proven, and the technology's all open sourced.
I
Like you
think
could
of on the books, Tesla's a horrible idea.
on the books, it's a horrible. Well, it
Yeah, on the
was
books,
when
you're
it
like, oh,
started,
this is not a good product at all, and
but
it's gonna be like a failure.
all
And
these companies that are like making
they only made
EVs
money
now, why
because
aren't they copying it?
they only
Yeah.
made money because of the rebates they were getting from all the other gas powered engine companies, right? Paying these credits for the EV. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, but I think it's
Right.
baloney. He just built a good freaking product and everybody flocked to it like
But he's
crazy.
losing money if he doesn't have all those credits, right? It's not a profitable company,
Is
right?
that in fact the case, or is that just
It was at
baloney?
one point. I'm not up to speed on it, but that's at one point. The first profit he termed was strictly because of the EV credits that he was getting from like all the other companies.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
he said if the Fed raises rates again, it's gonna like make a severe recession or something like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I
Why do you
guess
think people make these announcements? Anytime you read an announcement in the news from people who are like,
Blackstone too.
influential,
All these big
but they
companies are
always
like,
have agendas, Daryl.
I'm glad you're the one who said it and that I didn't
Yeah,
say it because I
for
think,
sure they do.
but what's the agenda for down? Like,
They don't want it to go down because it's going to hurt them. The guys who want it to go down is they want to be right.
but you got companies like Blackstone saying, brace yourself. Things are about to get really fucking bad around here. And then you got
Yeah.
Musk saying, you know, if they raise rates again, it's going to really put a nail in the coffin of the economy. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they all
Okay.
think rates are going up. And
But
you got
why would they
Bezos
say
saying,
that?
don't buy anything from
They
me
don't.
right now because it's like a bad economy coming
Yes. They want the Fed because they can't influence the
to
Fed in any other way
reverse.
to say, whoa, these big players are all saying things are going to get bad. What do they know that we don't know?
Mm.
Right? What data do they have that we don't know? Maybe we should
Mm.
slow things down. Is that the most conspiracy thought you've ever heard from me?
No, I think that's actually a
That's
very
pretty true,
well
right?
put together thought. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
actually
think that's
makes
exactly.
a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what they're doing? They're all just posturing so that
I think when
they
someone
flip
goes
on
out in
rate
the
policy?
media and says something like that, who's got a lot to lose, that's exactly what they're hoping is that the media catches it and sends it off to the person who's, got power at B.
Hmm. So our influence seems to do nothing
Zero.
at
No
all,
matter how many times we
no
put
matter how
Tiff's
many
face on our
times.
thumbnails, this guy just doesn't pay attention.
I don't understand. If all they had to do was listen to this show or watch this show once a week
Yeah.
to know exactly what to do and wiggle their way through this and end up with the actual soft landing that has there been, did we talk about this before? Has there been a soft landing ever? Like, what does a soft landing look like? How do they do it?
Before I answer that question, because I have all the answers, I
You
want to tell
tend
a
to.
secret that I don't think our listeners have heard before.
Hmm.
Tiff Macklem. Tiff
He's your uncle?
is short for Tiffany. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that is a true story. You heard it here on the Canadian Real Estate Show. I'm not making fun. I'm just giving you guys facts about
I
the
don't know what to
abbreviated
do
version
with that.
of the
That's-
first name of the Bank of Canada governor.
That's the first time in 3 years that I haven't been able to catch something you threw at me and do something with it.
All right, so
hell is
soft
that all
landing.
about?
Are we there? Are we there? I don't think we've landed. I don't know if anybody can say hard or soft.
There's no
I think
landing
we are
in
still
sight.
in the air and there's
Oh.
flames coming back. And we might have lost one of the engines.
I feel
and I
like
don't
I'm
know
like, my
yet.
parachute's not opening. My
I
parachute's
think we've
not
landed
working.
yet, Daryl.
Help me.
So that's part of the problem, right? Is knowing where things are. Now, let's just
the
talk
hell
about what we
knows?
know.
Does
Let's talk
Tiff
about what
know?
we know.
Does Tiffany know?
Major issue between initial rate hikes and the market in September, right? Like, wow, what a change. What a
They
change.
announced
20% drop.
The thought of a 1/4 point rate hike sent everything into pandemonium. Now we're
Yeah.
400 points higher. It hasn't even been, has it been a year? No.
No, but we have this demand, Daryl, that people still
Demand.
want housing. There's people who still need to move. There will never be a time where real estate, every market in the history of markets has some sales. The Great Depression, you'll hear all sorts of stories like this house was built in 1938. What were they doing in 1938? Why were they not affected by the Great Depression? I heard it was everybody riding the railroads with their little stick and the, bandana tied around the back.
Yeah,
And
lining
that's
up for food.
that's what they had to do. But no, like every time. So for us, we always just look at it like, we're in the transaction business. There's always going to be a time that we're serving people. We're helping people do certain things. And you just have to adapt to the environment. So our prices higher or lower than today than they were, 6 months ago, they're lower.
That's a
right?
realtor's perspective.
And there's
That's a realtor's perspective who makes money regardless of the price and makes an amount of money that's inconsequential based on the difference, right? But it's the person who's making the decision about selling the house who's like, fuck, like literally 3 months ago, my house was worth X. And now everybody's telling me like, you're not going to sell this thing unless you market it to this. And it's like, oh, well, now I kind of don't really want to sell this thing. And then it goes to
look at the sales. Shit. Like if you've been in your house for only a couple of years, then you bought the house and your plan shouldn't have been to sell it short term. No. You should have had a concrete plan that you could stay there for 5 years. That's by far the first mistake if that's not the case. Second, if you've been there for a long time, and you're every 6 months, you're looking and you're trying to figure out on House Sigma how much your house is worth. And you're like, oh man, we're rich. Oh man, let's refinance. Oh man, I'm doing great. Then you're going to put yourself up for a lot of pain when the market does change. The happiest people I meet, Daryl, I swear, the happiest people, they've lived there forever. They paid peanuts. Maybe their mortgage is paid off. Maybe it's very little. You walk in, you show them what you're going to do. You go over what the last sales are. They say, yeah, that's nice. I know you're going to do the best for me. And you list the property, you get as much money as the market will bear. And they say, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have met you. The most miserable people are the ones who are like, 3 months ago, my neighbor sold for X. His basement, he put that cheap laminate down there.
That motherfucker with the laminate.
He didn't even paint since he moved in. All right.
I told him the fucking laminate. No, but hold on.
And he had his cousin do the landscaping in the back. It's garbage. They dug down 3 inches. All right. I know that landscaping.
How far back?
Miserable people.
But how far back do you have to go? Like it used to be like, oh, if you bought at the peak in February and March, you're really fucked. And then it's like, well, if you bought in like February, March, April, May, June, December, November, then you're kind of like fucked. And then now, like if you go back to average pricing, maybe where we're at now,
2021, maybe.
Yeah, like middle of 2021, and depending on which month you want to grab for your speaking point or your headline, like you could go back even earlier and find a comparable average month, right? So it's like, how fucking long ago did you have to buy something to not be feeling like, oh shit, like I've lost value, right? Like you could have bought a year and a half, 2 years ago and be like, fuck. I was part of this run up. Like I thought my house was worth this and now it's worth, right? and you're not like following the market and you're not a fan. You're just like, holy shit. Like I thought I could have bought 2 years ago and avoided this mess.
Yeah.
And now I'm in it, right?
Yeah.
How many people are like that? Or how many people are on like renewable mortgages or on mortgages from 5 years ago at 3%? And it was like, okay, 3% is kind of normal, and I'm expecting maybe 3-4% on renewal. Maybe I'll get lucky 2%.
Your
And then they come up for renewal.
amortization period, your amortization period can just change. That's where we're at right now. Like
Maybe you're
everyone's
not
talking
paying
about
off the
the
house.
trigger rate crisis and renewal crisis and all that stuff. And I know I spew that stuff too and everything else. I'm not saying I'm like I never talk about it because it's definitely real. But the reality is that unless it was like something that happened really recently, as in, you know, you bought like a high ratio mortgage in November 2021 and your rate was, you know, prime minus 0.9 and you were paying a 1.2% variable and then now it's 5.5 and you're, you know, in trouble. And then now your trigger rate hits, then they're going to be like, all right, like, you know, how high can we really raise this amortization period? Because you really don't have that much equity, right? Because the house price has all gone down. That would be a unique situation. But for the most part, if you are renewing and it's been 5 years, you got lots of equity. You had a 25-year mortgage. They're willing to go up to 30. They can make your payments the exact same. They can change your amortization to make
Right.
your
And
payments
that's what's going on is
exactly the same as
payments,
they were before when you
right?
renew at 5.5%.
But you're not paying down the goddamn mortgage.
I get that,
You're just
but it's a
keeping the
5-year.
house, right?
Talk to me again in 5 years,
Right.
BMO. And
Right.
that's what people do,
And
you know?
that's what's happening. And that's what we're seeing they're prepping for in the States. It's like, okay, you know, we're going to go with bigger amortizations and your payments are going to stay the same. And maybe you're not even going to pay any of the principal down, right? You're just going to pay interest for the next 50 years. And so what's happening is they're going to transition the banks into like the property owners, and people with mortgages are going to be renters because they're going to have to keep the house.
Aren't people who have mortgages already renters?
They are, but right now their equity is evaporating, right?
With a shitty contract with a lousy lease.
But it's a good lease if there's equity and it's growing. It becomes just a lease.
You don't get to walk away. You don't get to walk away.
Well, now you may have to.
Right?
Right?
If
now
things go well, then okay, it's good. But if things don't go well, then you're in trouble.
But this is what's happening is they're going to just prolong things and turn people into renters. And hopefully one day they lasted long enough for equity to build back up and they can sell it and make some money and everybody's happy. Yeah. Kick the can. How long is that going to take now?
We've talked about this though when Foster's on. There are people who are meant to be renters.
For sure. And there's
more people who should be renters than there is currently.
Yeah. What the fuck's wrong with renting?
Yeah. There's more people who should be renters, but are owners because they got, brainwashed into owning.
No, they got suckered in by low rates are going to be low till 2023. And why would you fucking rent when your mortgage could be less than the rent? You could buy a house and pay similar to like a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Toronto, right? Same payment.
No.
Similar.
At one point though, that was the case. At least that's what we were.
Listen, $2,400 for a 1-bedroom downtown. You can rent a house in Milton for $2,400, or at least you could before the pandemic. I don't know what the hell's going on now, but I mean, $3,000 to $3,000, maybe a 2-bedroom, but still, you're getting a house for God's sakes.
Yeah.
The point is everything is. I don't know what my point is. Everything is just upside down and really hard for people to navigate right now, and I don't see an end in sight. I actually see it getting a lot worse and a lot crazier and a lot more confusing before it turns around. And even if this is the end of the rate hike cycle, it may not be the end. Well, it could be the peak of interest. No, it may not be. They could hit us with another 25 points in January, or maybe they stand and who knows in February or March or whenever the next one is. Like, we could still see rate hikes because at the end of the day, like we were saying at the beginning of the show, I still need to fucking eat, right? I still need to live somewhere. And those are huge impacts on inflation. And those are not going down, right? Same with gasoline, like, and heating my house. Like, I don't know. Did you see your last gas bill? My last gas bill was like, holy cow, what the hell happened? I don't even understand. It's not even cold yet.
You know what I saw this morning? not going to call her out in public, but let's just say, for example, my wife left the gas on the barbecue going.
Oh, it's hooked up to your house?
Yeah, it's natural gas. Yeah. And
That's
let's just say I walked out this morning and smelled gas and was
definitely
like,
her, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Definitely.
But I'm just saying like that's
Not
possible,
you.
right? If that
Yeah.
was a scenario. And I wonder what the gas bill is going to be because of that.
Oh, thank
You
God
know?
I have propane tanks. I can only burn one tank
There's
at a time.
one tank.
That's like a regular occurrence. Me going into the backyard going like, oh man,
Yeah.
again?
Yeah.
There goes another
So
tank.
I shut off the valve this time and I'm like, all right, this is now going to be the new thing. But if I'm going to buy a property today, you know what I'm going to do, Joe?
Hmm.
I'm going to visit
Solar panels.
I'm going to visit urban Toronto.
Hmm.
And I'm going to find out everything I need to know about that area, right? For a small fee,
You
I'm
can
going to
find out a
know
lot.
exactly what's going to be built in that neighborhood.
Urban Toronto Pro is the most powerful business intelligence tool and database for the development industry in the Greater Toronto Area. Efficiently generate leads and gather real-time market insights on all GTA development projects. Urban Toronto Pro makes it easy to track projects as they move through each development phase, from proposed to complete, and see the latest updates on each one, all in real time, all within a few clicks. Our database tracks over 60 different items per project, and each item can be easily searched across single or multiple projects. Learn more about the most powerful source of intelligence on Toronto's development industry. Book a call with one of our product specialists today.
Well done, sir.
Was that good?
It was it was unexpected and good.
Yeah.
I think I can work it in. So hold on a sec. So who's buying stuff now? Like who's the actual buyers now that feel comfortable enough to buy in this environment and are able to actually close? What do they look like?
People who are also selling. They're
People
buying
that are
and
also
selling in the
selling
same market.
that have owned their houses for a long time.
So there's people who are coming and making offers on my listings who already sold.
Already sold.
Already
so sitting
sold.
on cat,
So
like
they got the right advice. I mean, sell first, downward market.
Closed or firm?
Firm, sometimes usually firm, not closed. One guy I'm working with, a buyer,
Not
he's
out
closed,
of the woods.
and he's got a 1 point something mortgage that he can port for like, a couple years, but by a certain date. So his motivation is if I do buy a property, he knows it's going down, but the interest savings over that term we figured was about 40K. So he's got 40K buffer to buy a property.
I think that buffer is going to get eaten up pretty fast. No,
well, it might, and he knows that, but again, there's a 40K buffer, so that adds to his appeal. And then the other people that have been making offers who are coming in, yeah, there's people who got, like I said, they got the right advice. The inventory hasn't piled up like they were hoping, and so now they have to come in and they have to buy properties, but they've sold already, and that's okay. And then the other people, yeah, like I said, they're selling as well.
but
Right? The first time buyers are nervous. The people just buying right now, they're nervous. The investors are out.
Are we seeing first time homeowners buying stuff now, or are they waiting?
They're out there, they're shopping, but they're getting advice from their Uncle Bill,
What
at the
about
barbecue.
immigrants? What about new people to the country? Are they like, I got a job, I gotta go, I gotta buy something?
I got a conditional deal with a new Canadian couple. Yes.
What kind of jobs?
Electrical, and he's working night shift. And I don't know the wife, but they were working people, and the agent told me about them, and I'm hoping.
So they're new to the province or the country? How can an electrical?
It sounds like they're like new
over?
Canadians, like they've been here for a little while, and this is now their first house.
Yeah. It's not easy to get into the country. We're trying to get somebody to.
It's not easy to get into the country.
No, it's really not easy to get people to immigrate.
So everyone just says that. It's like, really, 500,000 people. Really?
Well, there's a long waiting list and there's criterium. And if you don't fall under the criterium, it's just harder and harder. And like, if you want to come as a student, then you have to pay quadruple for everything. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually quite shocked. I mean, I'm sure if I called the right lawyer and I called a few people that I could probably cut the time by a significant portion, but
I'm running a school.
Yeah, me too.
I'm running a school.
I'm offering a job, but it doesn't matter. It's like, now you got to prove that that's the person that should get the job, right? Why are you not hiring a local for the job?
Well, my job
anyways.
sucks, right? So no one wants it. Like, you know,
Well, I
my
think
school
that,
sucks. We're not even teaching anything. That's why it's the only student who I can get to pay me.
but I think that that's actually a good thing that they make it harder to get into, because there is
Yeah.
a significant lineup and there still is a significant spout that they've got open. So
Yeah.
I don't think it will dry up. There's people that don't think that that will have an effect on the real estate market. I
And you're
can't
like,
just can't see
Canada's
it.
going to reach their immigration target.
I mean, I've read that they surpassed it like a long time ago, right?
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know. Is that the stat that we're going to choose to believe that they put out, the immigration
here's the
numbers?
Canada.ca immigration, right? Target for 2023, 465. High is 505,000. Low is 410.
Yeah, we're going to fucking clobber that thing. People are trying so hard to get in here and they can't, or they have to wait longer to do it. And they're willing to for some reason. Because like, what are the alternatives? Are there like good, cheaper, better places to go to?
And so Canada was on track to exceed its permanent residency of more than 430,000 people in 2022. But like you and I have talked about before, a lot of those people are already here.
They're already here.
This isn't new people to the country. It's permanent residency, granting permanent residency.
Don't you think we'd like feel all these extra people? I mean, we kind of do. Ever drive anywhere lately? Like, it definitely is not the same city I grew up in.
Placebo effect.
Placebo effect.
That guy looks like an immigrant,
bro. No, but it's just
he
more
look
cars.
new.
More people.
He's got a
more
suitcase.
Cars. Well, regardless of whether I'm saying like maybe there isn't that many new people coming in, because we would really
speaking another language at the restaurant. Where is he from?
Yeah, that guy at the Chinese food restaurant was speaking some weird language. You know, it's funny
Says
though.
He was born here.
The guy who owns the Chinese food restaurant is like Jewish, and the guy who owns the Japanese food restaurant is Korean, and the guy who owns the Korean
Thai
restaurant is Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy who owns the deli is Sri Lankan. It's like everything's upside down, TK. I think we're
all just Canadian, man. Once you get here, you're Canadian. It's like pretty much the only country that
we're all
maybe America's like that
together.
Too.
We're all
but
just
really,
getting
it's just
reamed.
you come here, you're Canadian. That's it.
You're a Canadian. Welcome to the brotherhood. Welcome to things not living up to your
better get a couple jobs.
Yeah, better get a few jobs now.
That's what I was thinking. Sleeping 4 hours, because otherwise you're going to be in real trouble.
My daughter, she got this job, but she already like she babysits and she's a rent-a-goalie. Like this job is actually the worst amount of the worst use of her time, but it's the most amount of hours she can get. Right?
Does she want to play
wage
Sunday?
Is a real bitch. $15.50 an hour. Who can live off of this?
Does she want to play Sunday? Men's league?
Probably.
Yeah.
She's expensive, bro.
Really?
I don't know.
Like what's expensive for a rent-a-goalie?
I don't know. I'll put you in touch with her people.
Yeah, I got to talk to my people, actually. I don't know if someone was found yet or not.
I think she, let me know. She's,
so if anybody's listening still and they don't need to rent a goalie.
And this isn't edited out.
You're going to edit that out?
I don't know.
Oh.
We'll see how it's flowing.
Well, now you're going to have to.
Everything's.
Now's the time, Darryl. For
us to say
like,
goodbye.
comment, and subscribe.
Oh, if you're still here now, then you must have done it already.
You must have left the YouTube player open and you've walked away from your phone. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And if that works too.
Yeah, that works too. Like if you just want to like, you got something better to do and you don't really want to listen to our show, just put like, a video playlist together of all our old videos and just let them play in the background.
Let them run.
You don't even have to listen. We appreciate the views.
We
appreciate the listens, the comments, the likes, and the subscribers. Don't forget to ring the bell.
Well done, TK.